Bob, let me turn the tables. When Upton Bell walked into BZ, tell me the memory Bob LaBelle has of that.
Well, here's the deal. We each had an hour talk show. I think I followed his on a Sunday afternoon. And it was the Super Bowl. I know the Denver Broncos were playing in this particular
Dallas
Super Bowl.
Cowboys, yeah.
And okay, Dallas, whatever. And he was on for an hour, and I was on for an hour, and the Super Bowl was on against us. I thought that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. I says, why don't we just do 2 hours together, since we're not going to get any calls. Remember, no cell phones, no car phones, no nothing. You're calling from home, and if you're home, you're watching the Super Bowl. So I said, let's just do the show together and try to gut 2 hours out of this and get out of here. So that's how it started, and it just never stopped. It was one of those, marriages by convenience.
Well, as Upton said, not planned, meant to be.
By the way, here's the key to this whole thing. I look for small things as a key, not our on-the-air relationship, which is about the same as our off-the-air relationship, and that's why I think it was the best talk show I ever heard on sports, because there were there was no plans in it. We both prepared. I never talked to him about what I was going to talk about. He didn't tell me what he did. We went in there, and it was just one hilarious, serious sometimes show from 1 minute to the other. But here's how I knew it was going to make it. We're up in New Hampshire, and he takes me to where he lives, and I look up.
Goffstown.
Yeah. Goffstown. I look up. After a couple of drinks, I look up on the tree, and I said, Jesus Christ, I can't believe it. He lives on Upton Lane. So
a sign,
that's
literally.
True. That was true.
So I said, cut the damn thing down. So he got up and sawed it off. We could have been arrested.
Without a permit.
I still have it, and I was going to bring it today, and it's been signed twice.
That's great.
And that was, over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That was my key from the Lord, that this was what I should be doing.
That is great.
That's a true story.
But you know what? When you're with Lobie, Bob LaBelle, these things happen. I mean, I've had him on the show where we've literally bumped into people, and it's crossing paths in life. But Bob, today, when you think of broadcasting, and all the sports shows that Upton Bell was a part of, or the commentary and the calls from listeners, it really was the best of times, but yet it's still enduring.
I think so, Jack. I think it's because it's about relationships. It's about a sense of humor. It's about not taking yourself too seriously, and it's really being serious about not being serious, if you know what I mean. And I think these are enduring qualities. Sports, they'll come, they'll go. The rules, the tragedies, the controversies. The Michael Vicks and Tiger Woods of the world will come and go, all providing fodder, but you got to keep in mind, when you have a chance to talk about this with humor and, self-deprecation.
And you know what?
Go ahead, interrupt me. I don't care.
Yeah, but you always tell me to shut up.
Used to it.
So, what he's saying...
He's been there, he's been everywhere, he's done everything, and he's met everybody. Yeah. Now, what kind of a partner could you ask for?
But he still has a show, and I want you to tell our listeners, because we're at New England Live, but in Worcester, you're still doing your show.
We're still,
okay. I do, but I do want to get back to this for a second. For the reason why I think the show succeeded, and why so many shows I hear today don't necessarily succeed.
This should be good. Go ahead.
And the reason is not only the chemistry, but every time I try to listen to a show, I hear statistics. He did this, he did that. You know what? The public doesn't want to hear that. The public wants to hear two people interacting on really funny and serious issues. And he and I we started out when sports talk was basically hits, runs, and errors. Who's going to pitch tonight? And I said to him, who gives a damn? Let's talk about the first female driver, okay? And he said, oh, Upton, please, this is really boring. And we get in an argument on the air. This wasn't off the air. And so therefore
I know that's what people love to hear.
Yeah, some of the biggest people, Woody Hayes, all of the people, Bobby Knight, all of the people that were never on in this town. Digger Phelps, what a fraud. He's still on there. He and I think, brought these people to the public instead of saying, oh, the Red Sox are playing tonight, 0922 average. Baloney.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean? That's why I think the show really.
Let me ask you this: you grew up in a pretty serious sports
Silver
town.
spoon mouth. Silver spoon.
A pretty serious sports town of Philadelphia, Philly.
Yeah.
But Boston's your home. And for our viewers who don't know, you live in Cambridge, so you're still in this area. What is it about New England and Boston sports that transcends the stats, the banners, the wins? What is it about the major sports in Boston that cuts so deeply into generational family dinners, discussions, relationships between dad and son, dad and daughter? What is it about this park? What is it about this region that makes us different than California, New Jersey, New York, and some of the quote-unquote as big, if not bigger, markets?
It's a cold place. It can be a tough place. You make it by the sweat of your brow. Most of the people, I'm not talking about the pink hats that go over there. Most of the people work hard for their money. They don't want to be BS'd. They'll come up. They come up on the street and talk to both of us and told us off at times, and other times they let you know exactly where you stand. And most importantly, two particular sports, hockey and baseball. You can't fool these people. You can go into any other city, with maybe the exception of Philadelphia where I live, and that in case is football. You can't fool these people. Now, the other couple of sports, they're just beginning to learn. I think football, and everybody jumps on the bandwagon. But it's a city. Don't fool me, because if you try to fool me, your ass is going to have it. And I like that attitude. Wouldn't you say, Lobe, it's a tough attitude, but they got a sense of humor?
Yeah, well, you know what? We did this stuff during the desperation years. You know, desperation years for everybody but the Celtics, and they certainly were desperation years for the Red Sox. And no one loved to make fun of them any more than we did. You couldn't ask for, just provided so much.
One of your best written pieces was about the past management of the Red Sox.
Oh my God, the Emperor has no clothes.
Yes.
Stuff
And
that
you were the first to raise
and the
it.
Patriots were no prize by any stretch of the imagination. The stuff that we really got into and really grew up with. That's what I call the desperation years. And you know, I suppose everything comes full circle. We fittingly were around for the
Bad time.
decade, the bad times, but also the decade of the championships.
Yeah.
Which,
Here's a stat.
everyone
our,
but the Bruins.
Our viewers may want to know about Upton Bell and Bob's good friend here. Under the leadership, under his leadership, the Patriots
Don't take this personally.
improved to 2-12, and then 6-8.
I wasn't here for the 2-12. I got here.
You were
we
the
had
6
all
and
the.
8?
I got
Okay.
here the two biggest upsets that year. We beat every one of the teams that went to the Super Bowl.
Jim Plunko
Okay.
was your quarterback.
Yeah.
And he beat
Okay.
Oakland the first
Okay.
game,
Well,
right?
Oakland and Miami on the way to the Super Bowl.
But the hapless years when the Patriots were playing at Harvard Stadium and didn't have a home or Fenway Park. And,
Wasn't here for that.
no, but you did
Okay.
come in. I'm not trying to downplay your record. You have your dad's genes. You came in and got involved in management, and you're general manager there. But then they go on under a guy named Belichick and a kid named Brady. That first Super Bowl, St. Louis. Where were you? What went through your mind?